We're alive. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the JIMPACT Zone. I got to come back with a new name because Chad is here and it's going to be a more regular thing. Welcome back to Mark It Down Podcast as we review Impact Live. It was a great show tonight, a big Honor No More heavy show, and we had a stacked card. Before we get into the details, Chad, what did you think of the show?
I would like to say I'm going to be controversial.
Oh boy, I love it. Chad's controversy is both
that's
terrifying and hilarious.
I actually enjoyed this more than I enjoyed Dynamite last night. Sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
I almost just fell out of my chair right there. I was not expecting to ever hear that from a wrestling fan ever. This is got to be a Mark It Down podcast like.
Probably at first.
That's yeah. Wow. Remember the date, guys. September 1st, 2022. Chad preferred Impact to AEW. Wowza. Okay. I'm a little speechless right now. I almost muted there too. But wowza. Okay, let's just, you know what? Let's get into it right out the gate. We started with a tag team title match between the Good Brothers representing the Bullet Club and the OGK, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. Sans Maria Kanellis. She was banned from ringside because Carl Anderson beat Mike Bennett last week on Impact. So it was just the two versus the two. Honor No More versus Bullet Club. I very much enjoyed this match, Chad. What did you think of it?
Oh my God. I actually really enjoyed this match. It was the opener and I was like, damn, this is kind of starting off with a banger.
Right?
I was confused as, I figured the Good Brothers would just win, of course, because it's the first match and, successful title defense and on with the night. But the actual match itself, I'm not familiar with Matt Taven, and tonight was a great introduction. Like, I've seen him before, but I've never seen him wrestle. Of course, I've seen Mike Bennett wrestle in the Good Brothers, but Matt Taven shined a little bit for me. And it was just overall, it was a really good match. I mean, there were so many spots that I could say, but I'm kind of speechless because I was just taken aback by how good the opening match was. We don't get that often. So
I loved it. They certainly made an impact. I will keep that to a minimum. But
don't.
We see new tag team champions OGK winning their first set of Impact tag titles in Impact Wrestling, dethroning the Good Brothers in what was fairly a clean match. Not a lot of drama, not a lot of shenanigans, no real cheating. A fair 1-2-3 following a proton pack. I love that finisher name.
It is phenomenal. The move and the name.
Absolutely. The writing was on the wall, though, for this title change because the Good Brothers have been working for Impact without a contract for over a month now, I believe a month and a half. Okay. So this was somewhat to be expected. I'm very excited to see what OGK is going to do with the tag titles moving forward. There seems to be a lot of competition in Impact. Tag team wrestling is always highlighted well. And the Good Brothers, who knows where they'll pop up again. They're certainly, New Japan stalwarts at this point. They're still part of Bullet Club. They're still part of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Let's see if they pop up elsewhere.
Right.
Moving forward, we had a celebration backstage between the Honor No More, where, they were very proud of themselves, lots of pats on the back. And we're going to transition into an X Division championship match with Kenny King challenging Mike Bailey Speedball. But, this time we saw backstage Maria Kanellis offering her services to accompany Kenny King because she couldn't accompany her husband and Matt Taven in the tag title match. And boy, did she turn out to be important to this match. A nice back and forth between veteran Kenny King and Mike Bailey. Literal back and forth pinfalls here as Kenny King gets the 1, 2, 3.
Kind of.
On Mike Bailey with the assist of Maria Kanellis as the original referee is knocked down and a replacement ref comes in, doesn't see Maria holding Kenny King's hands, and gives the championship to Kenny King. But the original referee wakes up, sees what goes on, and reverses the decision, restarting the match. Mike Bailey quickly took advantage, gets a hurricanrana, turns it into a 1-2-3, and Mike Bailey wins back / retains his X Division championship. Chad, I know you're not too familiar with either of these guys. I believe you've been watching Mike Bailey here and there now as you started Impact. What have you thought of this match?
Okay, so this was, again, another pleasant surprise for me. The match, in the beginning, it was a little sloppy, but, nothing crazy. Yeah. And then when I saw Maria helping Kenny King, I thought it was over. And believe it or not, something as simple as just them reversing the decision and not letting him cheat went it spoke volumes for me. Like, I was like, oh shit, they don't do this at all anywhere. I haven't seen a decision reversal in legit probably years. So for me, that was everything. The match was good. I'm really interested in this Speedball guy. Like, I like what he's bringing to the table. Kenny King, of course, I've seen him before. I'm not the most familiar, but I've seen him a few times, so I kind of know what he's got going on. But yeah, good match. Again, pleasantly surprised. I was here the whole way. The whole episode was really good for me.
It's such a treat to see Mike Bailey getting a little bit of a shine on him. He was literally not allowed in the United States for several years because there was an issue with his visa, that he broke his visa agreement, and he was banned from the United States for several years, wasting a good chunk of his prime. But I'm glad that Bailey is getting a chance to show the world just how good he is and making up for lost time.
Yeah, he's absolutely good.
Oh, yeah. He's a good sure. I love the nickname, too. Speedball is just perfect for him. Yeah, I will say, there was one aspect of the match that I cringed a little bit. It was when he was doing the Naomi kicks, where he was, like, rapidly front kicking. Yeah. I was like, God, I hate it no matter who's doing it. Yeah. I hate it no matter what company it's happening in. But, it was a spot.
I get it. That's a cringe spot. I get it.
It was certainly a spot. Moving backstage, we had Brian Myers, the digital media champion, confronting Scott D'Amore about the whereabouts of his title, that Scott D'Amore is in charge. It's his job to get his belt back for him. D'Amore challenges that. He says, you're the most professional wrestler there is. It's your job to take care of your championship. He's hyping him up. I got hyped. I wanted to back him up and help him get the belt. Come on, Mr. Professional. As soon as he turns around, he gets hit with a sucker punch from Bhupinder Gujjar, who then lays the title across Myers' chest on the floor. I really don't know how to feel about this. Bhupinder's the good guy. Brian Myers is the bad guy. That felt really cheap.
Yeah.
I'm never a fan. Like, I like when baby faces show like a little spice to them, but it always feels weird when they do something like a cheap shot. Or,
it went a little left.
Right? So I don't know. Let's see where that feud goes, how it continues, how it proceeds as we lead into the pay-per-view in a few weeks.
Yes. Let me just say before we skate past it, as I said in the group chat regarding Heath Slater, which we'll get to later.
Yes.
I love the fact that they are shining light and showing importance for Brian Myers, because I've always been like an edgehead. So I've always wanted him to win in any aspect, and he's really highlighted on Impact. And I just think it's great, because these underrated talents that don't get their time in the spotlight at all in WWE or other companies, I don't know. I feel it's very refreshing seeing them with new attitudes, new character development, new storylines, and I'm just here for it. Shout out to Kurt Hawkins. I love it.
I like to compare Impact Wrestling to like wrestling rehab. You go there to rehab your career. If you're an established star, you go there to rehab your image, to change your perception. It's a double-edged sword because for Impact, it sort of feels like you're taking the leftovers of
Right.
WWE's scraps or AEW scraps, and then you just make something bigger, making your own talent sort of feel smaller in the process, or at least that's the argument. But as a professional wrestler who might not be in a position to rock it in AEW or to shine in WWE, Impact Wrestling is a great place to go to remind people of how good you are, or to remind yourself how good you are. Case in point, look what happened on Dynamite last night with W. Morrissey. If you just remember that guy from the end of his WWE reign, you are shocked to see what he's capable of now and what he showed in Dynamite. But if you've been following Impact, you know just how well this guy's turned it around in the ring and why he feels like a big deal. And you can't teach that, Chad. You can't. But Impact Wrestling does it. Why, thank you. I was proud of it. Impact Wrestling does a great job of highlighting talent that wouldn't be highlighted elsewhere.
I agree.
So, major props to Impact Wrestling. Another backstage segment with Jessica preparing drinks for her team, Rosemary and Taya Valkyrie, to celebrate her first win last week. It was a moment. It was exciting. Yay! Except for Rosemary, who is so tired of Jessica's shit, is still convinced that all she is a distraction. But next week, we will have Taya Valkyrie versus Chelsea Green. And according to Rosemary, we will see just how big a distraction Jessica really is. We then had a little bit of a surprise where Gia Miller, gotta love Gia, she's always getting those scoops for Impact, interviews Aussie Open, who have said they've dominated all over the world, Japan, Australia, Canada, Mars. I think that's on Earth, right? I don't know. Now they're here in the United States and they want the Impact World Tag titles. Next week they will face Bullet Club, Chris Bay, and Ace Austin. It's going to be an exciting match. I'm very excited for it. Gia Miller, though, I keep saying it. She didn't stop there with this interview. She overheard Steve Macklin and Moose being big, meaty men, being hosses, and just swinging their dicks around to see who's the bigger talent. And she asked, what's going on? Moose just keeps walking. I love when you have segments sort of crossover or overlap with one another. I thought it was really cool, and it just shows how much is going on in Impact Wrestling. Are you excited to see Aussie Open?
Absolutely. I mean, we just saw them last night, so I got, that was my, I guess, introductory match, and then now I see it and I'm like, oh, hey, I know these guys. I've seen them before, so I'm super excited. I think Bullet Club will retain, but
not a title match. It's not a title match. No.
Okay.
The new champions are OGK, like we saw earlier tonight. Bullet Club, Chris Bay, and Ace Austin. They're just the first rung on the ladder for Aussie Open.
Got you. Okay, well, either way, I'm excited. Yeah. Now that I know these guys, I feel familiar. And I'll just also say, Moose is such an asshole. I love Moose. I can't even explain how much I love Moose.
Moose is like, I don't even know who to compare him to in any of the major companies. I don't think there is anyone like Moose right now. He's just so angry all the time. And he's so good that it's like, man, you just be angry. I'm not even going to worry about you.
Right.
You do you, boo-boo. or in this case, moo-moo. Moving forward to the next backstage promo, this one had a little more heat to it, unfortunately, a little more emotion behind it, as we saw Violence by Design. Eric Young cutting a promo where he parts ways with Joe Doring, who we now know, if you've been following the news this week, Joe Doring's brain cancer has unfortunately returned. We here at the Mark It Down podcast wish him the best. We wish him a speedy recovery. We're pulling for you, Joe. And Eric Young tells Cody Dean, or just Diener, sorry, not Cody Deaner, that he's got to go on his own path now. Deaner asks if he's leaving him, and he says, no, I'm just leaving. It's up to you if you want to follow. Leaving Deaner a little confused. Emotional segment, an interesting way to handle the group now that Joe Doring has to leave to deal with his medical issues. I like Violent by Design. I think they're an interesting group. I love these sort of just gritty little trios. What did you think of this?
I actually agree with you. I enjoyed it as well. I mean, it was, of course, bittersweet because, we wish everyone well. I've always been a really big Eric Young fan, and I can't explain why. I like from before, like I've seen the impact when he was going against Bobby Roode and all of that from before. And I don't know, I've just always liked him. I've always been interested and intrigued by what he's doing. I like Sanity enough. I followed him in NXT. His main roster run wasn't great, or I mean, even good.
I can't blame him for that. That was just poor booking.
Right. I mean,
when the Miz win, I love the Miz, but when you win a 3-on-1 handicap match against a group, that group was not destined for good things.
Exactly. The writing was on the wall from there. But I don't know. I've just always been interested, so I can't wait to see what the next step is.
Love it.
He's always also been a talent who's reinvented himself many times, and for some reason he never really gets stale. So I think the next story will be probably even better than the last.
We can only hope. We always love seeing veterans reinvent themselves late in the game and coming up with new and exciting ways to entertain us. And speaking of a veteran who is still entertaining us 24 years soon into their career, Mickie James coming out with a nice return. It's been a little while since we've seen Mickie. She packed her bags, went home for a little while. She tweeted out that she wasn't sure what her wrestling future would hold, and tonight marked an interesting return where Mickie tells the crowd that she's been dealing with a lot of self-doubt all these years. All she's ever heard is she doesn't belong, she's too old, she's too fat, which I hate WWE for the Piggy James thing so much, and I will never forgive them for that. How she can't keep up with the new girls, that her time is over. And she started to believe it herself after losing the Impact title to Tasha Steelz, after being betrayed by Chelsea Green and losing to Chelsea twice. Mickie James thought maybe it is time to hang the old boots up. But she remembered who she was. The crowd helped remind her who she was. And who that is Mickie fucking James. Hardcore country, baby. And she's decided she wants the Impact Women's Champion one more time, but she doesn't want the title. She wants to earn the title. So she is going to work her way up the Knockouts division from the bottom of the roster, as she said it, all the way to the champion, whoever that may be, by the time she gets to her. It was a really nice segment. It's always great to see Mickie. They're calling this little journey now the last rodeo, which I love for her. That's fun. That's definitely a little different. And what did you think of the promo? What do you think of Mickie's direction? What would you like to see from her?
Oh man, controversy time. I don't think this will be too debatable giving her tenure. Mickie James is a GOAT. Period. She's a GOAT. Like, everyone knows she's my favorite women's wrestler, but when you've had a successful career that has spanned over so many years, and we were just talking about reinventing yourself, to continue reinventing yourself and winning and being successful is amazing. I think this promo was even more hard-hitting because you saw the compassion. You saw that she was kind of tired and shit was getting to her and she didn't know she wanted to be here anymore. And I always hate when people call her old. I know
it's ridiculous.
I go on the offense when people say that because she can go better than half the young talent out here. So it's disgusting that they do that. I'm with you. The Piggy James shit left a sour taste in my mouth, even though I was kind of a fan of Lay Cool. But I mean, Mickie has, you're talking to somebody who's beaten Trish Stratus, beaten Lita. I mean, Gail Kim, it goes on and on. Beth Phoenix, absolutely. Maurice, like any woman you can name, she has beaten or been in the ring with. This woman
Absolutely.
is an absolute legend. And I think that if she were appreciated much more in that other company, we would see better things. So
I love that little reference to feeling like she was thrown out like trash,
yep.
considering the garbage bag incident
Mm-hmm.
that WWE returned a lot of release superstars' belongings in garbage bags. That was a nice little way to connect to a very real and very inappropriate moment.
Agreed. I love the chip on her shoulder. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's well deserved. And I think I don't want to see her leave. I don't want to see her retire right now. She doesn't necessarily have to be the champion either, but I don't know. I have a hard time seeing her lose, and I don't want her to lose. And
Well,
if this is the last rodeo, I hope she takes it all the way to the top again for the 5th time. Whatever.
likewise, I would never mind seeing another Mickie James title reign. She has more than earned it in the name of women's wrestling.
All right.
So moving on after that very passionate segment, we have Josh Alexander sitting down with Gia Miller. Gia really putting on the time tonight as they discuss Eddie Edwards. Eddie interrupts and tries to talk to Josh. It's not confrontational. It's just trying to talk, saying how Impact is against Josh just the same way they're against Honor No More. Just like last week, Heath interrupted. He's saying Impact didn't know that? Well, poor timing on Heath's part because he ambushes Eddie once again, jumping over Josh Alexander, being pulled apart by names like Tommy Dreamer and Lance Storm. That was pretty epic. Always love seeing Lance Storm on TV. Eddie is cleared out. We come back from commercial, and Tommy Dreamer and Lance Storm are trying to keep Heath calm. And he goes to apologize to Josh Alexander, saying it was nothing personal. He's just trying to handle business and not to believe Eddie. Josh says, well, he wasn't all wrong. You did interrupt me last week and you didn't let me say my piece. And then he walks away, leaving Heath feeling a little confused and a little worried about what the champ might do next. You were very excited to see Heath back. I know this is your first time seeing him. He's been with Impact for roughly a year or a little more, but he has been hurt for a good portion of that.
Oh,
what did you think about seeing Heath again?
Super stoked. Again, I haven't seen Heath in forever. And to see him getting attention on him and not having shenanigans and just fuckery around it a little bit. I mean, I think everybody enjoyed 3MB to a point and extent or whatever.
They were a fun little group. They were.
I mean, he was absolutely the redhead stepchild of Nexus. So we didn't see much there. Nobody liked the core. I don't care what anyone says. So like it was great to see him be serious, no bullshit, have promo time, actually speak, let people know who he was. It was so refreshing for me. Like, again, I've never seen him in this light. You said he's been there roughly a year, so I'm sure you've seen more than, what I've seen. I've never seen him here. I don't think I've ever taken him serious. I thought he was always just a gimmicky guy, even though he was cool and he was good. So this for me was very eye-opening. I'm very, very excited.
He's already had world title shots. He headlined one of the premium live events. So they definitely recognize the value that a veteran like Heath brings to the table. I completely agree with you. In fact, he reformed his tag team with Rhino here in Impact. Just Rhino's out with injury, taken out by Honor No More, which is why Heath is on this one-man crusade against them. But honestly, who doesn't hate Honor No More? So Heath, you might not be alone in that rebellion, you redheaded rebel. But yeah, nice little segment. I hope they keep building Heath up to feel like a threat, and we'll see. Maybe he's going to square up with Josh Alexander next. Could be good.
Cool. I'm with it. I like Josh Alexander as well. And to answer Danny, we are not cowards. We will answer the chats on the air.
It's so hard. Maybe if we had a third person with us, it would be a little bit easier. But it's just Chad and I, Danny. It's just Chad and I. But moving forward, I gotta say it. This next match was my match of the night. I loved it. We had an X Division match for a number one contender spot for the X Division Championship. We have Alex Zane taking on a debuting Mascara Dorada, who, if you are a WWE fan, you know as Gran Metalik.
Yep.
This was a fun, fast-paced, flippy, divey, spinny, every other direction you can go match. Gran Metalik is one of those guys who WWE never knew what they had on their hands. He is a genuine star down in Mexico, championship after championship. I couldn't even keep up with commentary describing how many titles he's won in his career. And it's just a shame they didn't know what they had when they had him in WWE. But now we have Mascara Dorada, who looked great, looked a lot quicker than we had seen him in recent years with WWE. And he gets the 1, 2, 3, leading to a title shot against Mike Bailey, Speedball, for the X Division Championship. What did you think of it? I love this match.
I've never seen this Alex Zane guy a day in my life. He's great. Now it's time for the controversy. Gran Metalik is possibly remove maybe 2 or 3 people. He's probably the best luchador that I've seen in WWE. I mean, he's leagues better.
Bold statement.
He's leagues better than Sin Cara. He's leagues better than Kalisto. He's leagues better than Lince Dorado.
I like Dorado. I will say I like Gran Metalik better, but Dorado is good.
Metalik is better than all of them. I mean, sans Rey Mysterio, of course, he's the best luchador of all time.
All time.
Debatable, but okay, cool. But like Gran Metalik has to be like maybe 3 or 4 for me. And I agree with you. I think WWE dropped the ball seriously. I don't think they even could fathom what they could have had with him. And I mean, he showed it here. As soon as I saw him, I said, oh shit, it's Gran Metalik. And then he put on a great ass match, and I was just like, you dropped the ball. What an ass.
Yep. It's true. I don't think he ever achieved the same heights he did in the Cruiserweight Classic in WWE. But this, like we were saying, Impact being career rehab, maybe this will be a good restart from Mascara Dorada. Gotta keep that in mind,
right? As
he looks to build momentum, maybe win a championship or 2, and see where he goes next.
Yeah, he's X Division bound. I can't see them not giving it to him sooner or later.
I think the title match will be at the pay-per-view Victory Road. I think it is in 3 weeks. Let's see. Moving on, we get our last backstage segment of the night. Jordynne Grace confronting Mickie James backstage, where she tells her she'd be happy to defend the title right here, right now, but she respects the fact that Mickie wants to earn it. She will be waiting for Mickie when the time comes. We got one last promo, a little package setting up Yuya Uemura's debut in Impact next week. He is from New Japan Pro Wrestling. He is a young guy who I believe is on excursion. I have zero experience with this guy, but that package really set him up to seem like he is going to be a threat. I'm excited for him. I love more crossovers, especially between Impact and New Japan, because you actually see the New Japan guys get wins. Are you hyped for him?
Absolutely. I think I would be honest to say that New Japan probably has the best wrestlers. So when a spotlight is shown on any of those, I think we all get excited. I mean, it is what it is. Like, absolutely. They all wrestle their ass off. So yeah, I can't wait.
Absolutely. Moving on to the main event. We have the undefeated Masha Slamovich taking on the virtuosa herself, Deonna Purrazzo, accompanied by Chelsea Green, in a number 1 contenders match for the Impact Knockouts Women's Championship. I don't even think you need to put Women's Championship. It's just the Knockouts Championship. I'm tired, guys. I've been doing wrestling for the last 5 days, maybe longer. I don't remember not watching wrestling. So regardless, this was a great back and forth match between these 2 dominant ladies. This is, I'd say, Masha's first genuine match here in Impact Wrestling. We saw the dam start to break when she wrestled Giselle Shaw a couple weeks back. But this was a genuine back and forth where we saw for the first time her not always in control of the match, as Deonna quickly, well, I don't want to say quickly, but strongly kept her ground against Masha. Granted, she had a little bit of help from Chelsea Green, but that did not stop Masha Slamovich, as she was able to overcome, kick out of the Queen's Gambit, backfist Deonna, and then hit her with the snowplow for the win. Let's also not forget, she also knocked the shit out of Chelsea Green off the apron. This was a great back and forth. They are brilliantly building Masha. A big win over Deonna Purrazzo, Mrs. Impact for the longest time. What did you think of the match? Are you happy with the winner? What do you think of Masha moving forward?
Okay, so the last time we were here, I said that was the first time seeing Masha. They are building her wonderfully. Like, yes. Literally wonderfully. I mean, is she still undefeated?
Yes, still undefeated.
Okay, that says a lot. I think I know where they're going with this. I do think she's going to beat Grace when she does face her. Deonna Purrazzo is chef's kiss.
Right? She's so good.
She's like so good it hurts. I mean, Chelsea Green is also good, but Deonna is she's otherworldly good. And I find it really difficult sometimes to see her on this show. I don't want to say as if she's bigger than the show, but she's just special. She's really special.
She definitely feels like a big fish in a small pond.
Right. And I have to tip my hat off to Impact, because they've been building her and doing her correctly. Like, they've been giving her what she needs, and just her repackaging has been amazing. She's a special wrestler.
Absolutely.
But this match was great. Like, it was main event worthy. They held no punches. I don't know. It was good for me. I enjoyed the shit out of it.
I completely agree. I thought this was an excellent match. I'm not surprised to see Deonna take the loss, because she is already one half of the Knockouts Tag Team Championships. She's been champ before already this year alone. No reason to build towards it again. There is also a big rumor going around that her contract status is up in the air. Word is her contract is running out. Impact is very eagerly trying to re-sign her. I cannot blame them, but it'll be interesting to see what happens in the tag title rematch. Supposed rematch between Rosemary and Taya Valkyrie and the Virtuosa and Chelsea Green. Let's see. I would miss her in Impact because of how good she is, but I'd be happy to see her flourish elsewhere as well. But let's not bury the lead here. Masha Slamovich is the winner, was confronted by Jordynne Grace to end the show in what was a very intense stare down, as Jordynne Grace returns her own envelope with Masha's X'd out picture in it to really build tension between these two heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Are you excited for the match?
Super excited. Like, I think that little 2 minutes let me know that this match is gonna fuck. Like, it's gonna be hard hitting. They both look like strong competitors. Masha's undefeated, so you definitely feel like Jordynne is in jeopardy. She's been a great champion from what I see. She looks strong. Like, who are they going to protect? It's so many possibilities. The unpredictability of it alone, for me, is what makes it so great.
I very much agree. This is going to be, I've been using this phrase a lot lately when it comes to wrestling, but it definitely feels like we're going to get an irresistible force meets the immovable object with these two women. Agreed. And I would not want to be caught in the crossfire. But ladies and gentlemen, theydies and they-thems, this was another great Impact Wrestling episode. Always a pleasure to have my man Chad Big Bad Johnson here in the JIMPACT zone. Hopefully I'll be wrangling in the others soon. Don't forget, We have 3 pay-per-views this weekend that we're going to cover between 2 nights, 2 days of wrestling, 2 WWE pay-per-views, and an AEW pay-per-view. And once again, we would like to thank you here at the Mark It Down podcast, as you guys have helped us reach 100 subscribers. We are so grateful. We have only just begun, and we have so much more exciting stuff coming your way very soon. Thank you for riding with us so far. It's only going to get better from here. Chad, anything you want to say to close out the night?
No, thanks for having me, man. Wonderful to be in the JIMPACT zone.
Always a pleasure. Till next time, guys. Thank you for being here. We love you.